Believe it or not, I've never given a Maid of Honor speech. So why am I creating a video to teach you how to deliver a Maid of Honor speech? Well, first off, one of the bridesmaids at my own wedding told me that I should. But beyond that comment, I personally have witnessed many Maid of Honor speeches, and I've noted a few things as the observer of what has worked well and ideas of how people maybe could have taken those speeches to the next level. So take this video for what it's worth with a grain of salt, considering I have never delivered a Maid of Honor speech, but I hope that my few pieces of advice help you to deliver an amazing speech that the bride is going to love. Hey everyone, my name is Wade Patterson, and I am passionate about impactful communication and public speaking. And if this video is of any value to you, I'd encourage you to check out some of the other videos on my channel. Consider subscribing, maybe leave a comment. I love knowing that people are getting some form of value from these videos. It genuinely makes my day, and my goal is to create a lot more powerful, useful content in the future. I recently posted a video on my YouTube channel about how to deliver a best man speech, which is something I'm a little bit more familiar with. However, many of the tips in that video pertain to the Maid of Honor speech as well. And the one I'm going to start with for your Maid of Honor speech is the idea of building a speech structure right from the start. I think the structure that is often overdone is the chronological, where people take the audience through a journey of all of the years together consecutively. And I've seen that historical timeline type speech happen many times, and it can work well, but what I would encourage you to do is be very creative with the type of speech and speech structure that you do. I've seen many creative, unique uses of this, and it always works well. When you're willing to try something that's a little bit different, a little bit new, don't be scared to do that. And as long as you kind of keep some of the base things that I'm going to talk about in this video, you should be fine. With that said, maybe you're not familiar with any speech structures, so I will tell you my favorite, and that is the idea of bringing a speech full circle. What do I mean by that? The concept of a full circle speech is that your opening, so the first line that you give in that speech, or the first couple of lines, is going to be your theme, and the closing of the speech, no matter what happens in the middle during the body of the speech, the closing of the speech is going to duplicate or be very similar to what you said in the opening. As an example, if you were talking about your friend who is the bride, let's call her Susie. I don't know where these names come from, but we're going to go with Susie for this video. And let's say Susie is sweet. She is a genuinely sweet person. Perhaps your opening few lines touch on that. You talk about your friendship with Susie, and that something you've always known about her is that she is so incredibly sweet. Then through the speech, the body of the speech, you can maybe tell some personal stories that illustrate Susie's sweetness, but also, I will add this in, don't be afraid to sprinkle humor in there. There's a lot of pressure on wedding speeches, and being able to use humor is an incredibly effective tool. The audience really wants to laugh. People at weddings are in great moods. They're there to smile, have a great time, and if you can get them laughing during your speech, that is mission accomplished. But you also want to balance that with all of the nice things that, of course, you're saying about Susie. So you start off with the opening, Susie is sweet, and a few lines. Then you get into some personal stories, your friendship, your experience. And then however you wrap that speech up toward the end, that should remind people of that opening sentence. It should almost be the exact same. And what that does to an audience is no matter what journey you've taken them on throughout the speech, they feel that the whole time you had this perfectly organized because you started here, it went around this journey of your speech, and it ended perfectly. You wrapped a nice bow on that speech. Speeches that come full circle, even if they go off in crazy directions, are so powerful. I've seen time and time again speeches that utilize that. The audience at the end, they're clapping. They're just like, wow, that was an incredible speech. So if you can incorporate a full circle speech, I really encourage you to try it out. I mentioned using humor in your speech, and one of the tips that I gave on the Best Man video, which is also the same for the Maid of Honor speech, is if you can use humor early. If you can get the audience to laugh early on, they're going to relax, and it's going to relax you as the speaker. If I had to put a formula on the Maid of Honor speech in terms of the balance of nice things that you say about the bride versus humorous things, I would put that on 75% and 25%. So 75% nice things, 25% humorous things. Now, of course, this completely depends. Maybe you're a hilarious person and humor is your thing, then all the power to you. I bet you're going to crush it by making a really funny speech. This is just an overall example from what I have seen has typically worked well at weddings. So that's sort of the percentage that I would put on it. Toward the end of the speech, before you get to the very end, that concluding full circle piece that I was talking about, ensure that you have saved a little bit of time to talk about the person that Susie is marrying. If we're breaking this down into percentages, I would say save 15 to 20% of your speech time-wise to talk about that individual, and mostly say nice things about that person. If you have a very short, funny story, sure, feel free to thread that in, but overall, you want to talk about how you're so excited that Susie is marrying this amazing person, maybe some of the great traits you have come to learn about that particular individual, touch on those things, and then bring the speech back to Susie to wrap it up, or Susie and her partner at the very end. In terms of timing, how long your Maid of Honor speech should be, I always say 5 to 7 minutes is a great speech length. This is based on my long history in Toastmasters, and that is typically how long speeches are, but it's just that magic number. Anything shorter than 5 minutes feels too short. Anything longer than 7 minutes isn't quite long enough. 5 to 7 minutes is the sweet spot for a speech. And please make sure, this is one of the most important tips, practice. Practice, practice, practice. Go over it, because the more you practice, the more you know that speech. You're not going to be worried about it on your friend's big day. You're going to be excited for that person. You're going to enjoy the day. And then toward the end of the evening, when you're about to give your speech, you know you can do it. You have the confidence. You've gone through it. And if you can deliver that speech without notes or minimal reference to the notes that you have written down, that is the best, because then you can focus on things like making eye contact with the audience. You can focus on your body language, and those are traits that the best speeches have in common. One final bonus tip for all of you Maid of Honors out there, and I didn't give this tip to the best men, but here is what it is. Talk to the MC in advance to know where you are going to be on the agenda, is that the right word? The program, I guess, of the reception, because that is going to put you at ease. I have seen many people who attend weddings who are incredibly nervous when they're going to be speaking. Are they going to be the first speech? Are they going to be the fifth speech, the last speech? Talk to the MC, find out, and that particular person, the MC, may ask you what your preference is of the order if you go ahead and ask. That's not a guarantee, but regardless, it's going to give you some peace of mind knowing where your speech falls as the night proceeds. I hope this video, which I am hugely unqualified to do, on how to deliver a Maid of Honor speech has been beneficial to you. Thank you to my friend who encouraged me to put out this video. Here it is. I hope that it added value to you, and hey, if you liked this video, consider subscribing to my channel. I do a lot of videos about public speaking and communication in general, and I am always trying to provide great content for you, the subscribers. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will catch you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you are looking for a little bit of coaching help with your next speech, I am providing one-on-one evaluations. My contact email is in the video description. Reach out to me and let's discuss what that could look like.